Today we're talking about potato, my favorite vegetable. And for you out there who are pedantic, yes, this is a vegetable. It's a starchy vegetable, but it's a vegetable. And today we're going to be doing one of my favorite things to this vegetable. We're going to be frying it. But we're going to fry it in two different ways because I know that there are many people out there who are more health conscious. So we're going to do one batch that will go in the air fryer and one batch that will go into the oil frying, which is the OG and my favorite. Now, right now we're in prep work. So what we need is a bowl with water in it, colander or strainer to make your life simpler in that bowl. And then we're going to cut up our potato. Now this one, because it has the skin on it, is going to be going in the air fryer. Skin on a potato has a lot of nutrient value. It's very, very good, very, very hearty. Unfortunately, I have someone in my household who thinks the skin on potatoes is disgusting. So for the oil frying portion of the event, I have some pre-peeled potatoes that we'll be cutting into. We're also going to do this two different ways, as in two different kinds of thickness. For our air fried potatoes, I want to make them thicker. So just going to cut. Ooh, always be careful. Cut almost to a thickness like a steak fry or a waffle or um, thank you, Harley. My brain just said, nope, I'm not going to help you out here. Good luck. The way I'm cutting, I am just rocking the blade and moving the food into the area where it will be cut. I'm not lifting the front of the blade up off of the cutting board. And I am putting these in water. The reason I'm putting these in water is because one of the best potatoes for frying is the russet potato, which is what we're using. But those have a lot of starch. And I want to try to get some of that starch out of the potato and into the water. Okay, easy, right? Very simple. Just quick cut up that potato into nice thick pieces. Now, for our pre-peeled potatoes that are going in the oil frying, because I'm going to be doing these a little differently, cut a part off the bottom so I have a nice firm, uh, uh, again, the words fail me, a nice firm position to cut from. So again, we're rocking the blade, doing this so much thinner. Wow, very thin that time. But see how thin? These will make shoestring fries. Again, they go from the cutting board into the water. It does help to get the starch off, but it also prevents browning. Because the type of browning, the oxidative browning that would be done leaving these out to the air, that is not the good kind of brown that we want when we're cooking. Do they have to be exactly the same size? No. If you desperately want your fries to be exactly the same size, get a mandolin. I have had bad experiences with mandolins, so I'm going to stick to a knife. And I don't mind that the food doesn't look perfect. There's a lot of people out there who will tell you that presentation is part of the experience of eating. Personally, as long as it tastes good, that's what I care about. So I'm not worried about whether the slices of potato are exactly the same size as every other one. I'm going to stand here now and cut the rest of these potatoes up, but we will talk again once I'm done with that. I'm going to give them probably 2 hours in the water to just kind of soak, and then we'll come back and start the frying. Okay, and we're back. And before we begin, a little PSA. As I was cutting the rest of the potatoes, I took a good chunk of the top of my thumb and part of the nail with it. Always, always be careful when you're slicing. Do not let yourself be distracted. Do not be like me. Oh my God, this hurt. In fact, I spent a good hour while the potatoes were soaking at urgent care. So please, please be careful. But what we want to do next is we're going to start with the air fryer potatoes. We want to take them out of the water. We want to kind of dry our bowl a little bit. So we can then do a little dry on the potatoes, throw them back in the bowl. Back in the bowl, I said. You want to add just a little bit of olive oil. You don't want these dripping oil in your air fryer. And then a healthy pinch of salt, maybe 2. And that is good kosher salt. And a little bit of pepper. Would freshly ground pepper be better? Probably. But this is what I've got. Tossed coat. Open up our air fryer. And it is a good idea to make sure that these are in a single layer. Now, if you have a basket air fryer, that's a lot more difficult. Do the best you can. I have this lovely air fryer that has its own trays. So I can make a layer with that one. Another smaller layer down here. Into air fryer. Now, I am going to set this for 400, and I'm going to put it in for 20 minutes, if it will cooperate. While that gets going, we're going to come back and deal with the regular French fry potatoes. Again, dump out the water. Now, because these are going to be going into actual oil, we want to do a little bit better when we're drying those off. Trying to get as much of the free water out as possible. Then, this pan, we add a little bit more paper towel. Drop our potatoes onto the pan. So we can pat them dry so that they are ready to go into the oil. Now, while I'm waiting for the oil to finish heating up, we'll come over here to this rig where I have on standby another pan lined with paper towels and a drying rack, as well as my high-sided pan with oil. Now, I'm using canola oil. You can use, and I have used in the past, peanut oil, vegetable oil, canola oil. I think that's the only oils I've used. I've not tried safflower oil, and some of the more expensive ones that have come out recently I haven't tried, but canola oil or the like is perfect for this. Now what you want to do is have it medium-high heat and allow it to come to temperature before you fry anything. We're going to do this in 2 stages. The first fry to start cooking the potatoes. We're going to pull them out, let them cool down a bit so that we can get the rest of them. And then once we've got everybody cooked nice and soft in the middle, we're going to come back and fry them a second time so they get crispy. But while I wait for the oil to heat up, I'm going to ask you to pause. I had to take a break because I was bleeding, so I had to get a Band-Aid to cover the Band-Aid. Not sure how that works. All right, we're taking French fries, or well, potatoes at this point. And we're going to put them in our basket. If you don't have a basket, I feel sad for you, but I understand because I only got this recently. This didn't get cut. We don't want to fill too much. Let that go. Oil's not that hot, but it'll get there. This is what happens when you're a real cook and you're actually cooking for your family. Don't always have everything perfect, but through the magic of the pause button on the phone, 8 minutes have gone by. We're going to check these bad boys. They're starting already to get crispy. Just want to move them around. Okay. Seriously? All right, back in. While we wait for the oil to continue to heat, we will be back when everything starts to actually happen. Once everything actually starts cooking, you can see the bubbles are forming and we have actual frying happening. As our potatoes begin to float, you know they're getting close to being completely cooked. All right, it's at this point that we are going to pull out of the oil and allow them to drain for a bit. Oil is expensive, y'all. I don't want any of it to be wasted if I can avoid it. Drain, drain, drain. Once we have gotten as much off as we can, we're going to bring it over here and dump our potatoes onto our drying rack, where they will get comfortable and they'll sit for a few minutes, well, more than a few minutes, while we get back to frying their siblings. Yeah, I took it there. I don't care. So once again, we load up our basket. I'm not telling you times for doing this because it is going to depend on your setup. It's going to depend on how many potatoes you throw into the oil. It's going to depend on so many different things, which is why I always watch for them to float rather than worry about a specific time. Our potatoes out of the air fryer. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. Well, they're not traditional French fries. They are air fried and they are delicious and hot. Incredibly, incredibly hot. Harley, would you like to try one incredibly, incredibly hot potato?
Yes, please.
Which one? That one. What's the verdict, kid?
It was yummy.
While waiting for the rest of the fries to cook, the air fried fries, well, disappeared. Our first fry is complete. Now on to the dramatic part. So a very small amount of previously fried potatoes in the basket. The oil is going to get very, very energetic, and the stuff uh, can boil over if you are not careful and if you overload the oil. A good shot of that. Also, we have the tendency for the potatoes at this point to clump, so it is a good idea to keep them moving with either your spider, if you have one, or a pair of tongs if you're using a basket like I am. Okay. All right. Now, this fry does not take nearly as long as the original. All we are doing is allowing them to brown and get crispy on the outside, which you can see is slowly starting to happen for some of these guys. They are starting to crisp up as we watch. Very nice. Very, very nice. It's important to note as well that between the finishing of the first fry and the start of this one, we have turned the heat up to high. We gave it a couple of minutes for the oil to increase its temperature. Now, I could tell you specific temperatures that you need to have your oil at. I know there are plenty of cooks who know those exact numbers. I don't, because I don't have a candy thermometer. I've never used a candy thermometer. There's not even space right in here for a candy thermometer. So I just go with keep your eye on the oil and keep your batches of the second fry low so that you don't end up causing a fire in your house. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of browning going on already on these fries. Maybe another 30 seconds just to get the right crispiness for these. All right, here we go. Look at that. That is beautiful. What we're going to do is we are going to let them drain for a moment. We are going to dump them into a waiting dish that has, oh, come on, paper towels in it. Of course, some of these fries decide that they want to stay in the basket. They don't want to come out, which is why having tongs is a good thing. Okay. Now, what you want to do is when they are fresh out of the oil, you want to add a little bit of salt. Don't go crazy, especially on the first batch. And that, my friends, is perfectly crispy French fry straight out of the oil. Is it hot? Yes. I don't care. Har.
Yes, please.
That's what I thought.